And हरि बोल। ठीक है। हरि बोल। ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। नमो महावदान्याय कृष्णा प्रेम प्रदायिने कृष्णाय कृष्णा चैतन्य नाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः। पंचतत्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकं। श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौरभक्तवृंदा। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। जन्माद्यस्य यतोऽन्वयादितरतश्चार्थसुभिज्ञस्वराट् तेने ब्रह्महृदायादिकवये मुह्यन्ति यत्सूरयः। तेजो वारिमृदां यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। स्वस्ति अस्तु विश्वस्य खलः प्रसीदतां ध्यायन्तु भूतानि शिवं मिथो धिया। मनश्च भद्रं भजतादधोक्षजे आवेश्यतां नो मतिरप्यहेतुकी। We are reading from Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, Canto 11, chapter number 2, verse number 44. So in the previous verses we studied the reply of sage Kavi to Nimi's question about what is Bhagavad Dharma. So he explained that Bhagavad Dharma are those which are spoken by Bhagavan to attain him. And then he described them that this is Shravan, Kirtan and so on, and the process how one has to follow it, the effect and the end result. So in the last verse it says that Bhaktir Viraktir Bhagavat Prabodha. So you get prema, bhakti means prema, virakti, renunciation to material attachment and experience of Bhagavan. So after hearing this, then the king, he raises further question in the next verse 44. So Raja Uvacha Atha Bhāgavatam Brūta Yad Dharmo Yadrisho Nrinam Yathacharti Yad Brūte Yerlinga Bhagavata Priya. So he said that please explain to me how does a devotee speak. So Yad Dharmo Yadrisho Nrinam, what is his swabhava, nature, and how does he act, and he speaks, and what are his symptoms. Yerlinga Bhagavat Priya, by characteristics, or linga means which is indicating something, his character, which makes him dear to Bhagavan. So Bhagavat Priya Bhavati, please explain that. So this is similar to the question which Arjuna had asked in Bhagavad Gita. Sthit pragyasya ka bhasa samadhistasya keshva sthatadhi kim prabhasheta kim ashita brajeta kim. So here how he speaks, how he talks, how he sits is basically indicative of how he deals with the material world. Because everybody has to deal with other people in this material world when we are existing here. So that dealing depends on the state of one's mind. How we relate to other people, how we act, how we speak, our behavior is on the status of our mind, state of our mind. So here also devotee, because now his mind is different. He's not having the same interest as materialistic people have. So naturally his desires, his emotions, his feelings and his actions will be different. So we understand a person by the person's behavior. When you talk to somebody, then through the speech, appearance, behavior, all these things indicate the inner state of mind. And that's how we know, because everybody is not going to tell you their CV, that this is who I am, but you have to know. So this is the question which is being raised here. So commentary says, Bhāgavatasya bhavanti iti ukte tasya lakshane pritchati. So in the At Bhāgavatam Bruta that you have spoken in the previous sloka about bhakta, about devotee. Bhāgavata means devotee. So then he wants to know more about them. Tasya lakshane pritchati. So he raises a question about his character. Athaiti. Yad dharmo yad swabhava. So dharma here means swabhava. It's like when we say that what is the dharma of water. When it is cooling, it flows. So dharma there means its nature. So that's what it means here. Iti manas linga prashna. So he says that this question about swabhava is the question related with the characteristic of the mind. Means what is the status of his mind. And yadrisha iti tasya eva tartamya prashna. And then yadrisha, what type, says there is talking about the various divisions, tartamya, gradations of the mind. Yatha acharti iti kayik linga prashna. How does he behave? This is a question related with the bodily actions, because person's bodily actions also change according to the mood or permanent state of the mind. And yad brute iti vachikalinga prashna. How does he speak? So our speech also changes. How a tamasic person speaks, how a rajasic person speaks, how a sattvic person speaks. There is a difference in their speech also. Kimetai prasnairiti ched atyaha yair manasadilingair bhagavat priyo anumiyate. So what is the purpose of asking these questions? Why is he raising this? What is the reason behind it? So he says, by this you can infer the level of a devotee, at what stage a devotee is. So you can make an inference, anumiyate, that bhagavat priyata means how much the person is dear to Bhagavan. So that is understood from these things. So now the sage Hari, who is one of the Navyogendra, he speaks. So Hari Ruvacha Sarvabhutesu yah pashyed Bhagavad Bhavamatmanah Bhutani Bhagavati Atmani Esha Bhagavatottama. So he first describes the topmost Bhagavata, means who is the highest type of devotee. So he says he is considered as Bhagavatottama, Uttam Bhagavata, the best of devotees, who sees Bhagavad Bhavam Atmane Sarvabhuteshu. One who sees his own Bhagavad Bhav in everybody. Means the type of Bhav he has in Bhagavan. So he sees that others also are having that. So Bhav has various meanings. Bhav also means Sthai Bhav, Prema. So the way he loves Bhagavan, he thinks others also love like that. And Bhutani Bhagavati Atmani Esha Bhagavatottama. And all the living beings, they are in Bhagavan. They are all existing in Bhagavan. He sees that. So there are various ways of interpreting this verse, as we will see in the commentary, because the word Bhagavan, Atma, they are liable to different interpretations. So whether he sees his own Bhav in them or he sees Bhagavad Bhav in them, he sees them in himself also, Atmani, because both words are used, Bhutani Bhagavati Atmani. He sees living beings in Bhagavan and also in himself. So there's various ways to see this. So devotional explanation is one type. Advaitavadis also study Bhagavatam. They have different way of seeing it. So let's see how Sri Vishnu Chakravarti interprets it. So Atmanah swasya upasya yo Bhagavan tasya bhavam vidyamanatam sarvabhuteshu yapashyet. So bhava also means existence, right? Like we have in Nyaya, we have 7 padarthas, 6 are bhava padarthas, 1 is abhava padartha. So bhava means existence. So is sarvabhutesu yapashyet bhagavad bhavam means existence of Bhagavan. That he sees then in everybody Bhagavan is there. So he sees that there is presence of Bhagavan in everyone. That is one meaning. he gives. So Bhagavan tasya bhavam vidyamanutam. It says that there is presence of Bhagavan sarvabhutesu, in everyone. Yathasa ka iti hiranyakashipuna prishta prahlada sa sarvatra iti uktva. Just like when Hiranyakashipu asked Prahlad that where is he, Kwasa, means Prahlad was speaking about Vishnu. He was talking Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam. Like he is preached to his father also. So then he asked, where is that Vishnu? So Prahlad said, oh, he is everywhere. So Hiranyakashipuna prishta Prahlada sarvatra eva ituktva. So then he asked him, is he there in this pillar also? Stambhe api mat prabhur drishyate iti. So he said, yeah, I see him in that also. So when he asked him, he actually saw, although it is little questionable how he can see the big person inside the pillar, but he saw him. So he says that stambhe api mat prabhu drishyate. He says, I see him inside this pillar also. Swapasyam bhagavantam drishtvan eva ityartha. So the meaning is that he certainly saw his worshipable Bhagavan in the pillar. So that's how he saw. So tatha atmani atmiye atmopasye bhagavati cha bhutani pashyet. So he gives a very interesting interpretation too, because it says bhutani bhagavati atmani. So meaning is that the bhutas means all the living beings. So the meaning is that Bhagavan is there in everybody and everybody is in Bhagavan. So the meaning of the Atma, what about Atmani? Literally it seems that it's saying that Bhagavan is there and living beings are there in Bhagavan and also in the Atma, means in his own self. And that means they are both one. Atma is same as Bhagavan. So instead of having that understanding, it says Atmani here means Atmiya, means one who is dear to one. Or Atma Upashya, who is worshipable of one's own self, and that is Bhagavan. So Atmani is being used as a qualifier of Bhagavan. What kind of Bhagavan? Who is worshipable of oneself. In other words, he sees that one's worshipable Bhagavan is present in everything, and everything is present in one's own worshipable Bhagavan. That is the meaning of this. This is one way of interpreting it. Yatha Shri Yashoda Krishnasya Jatreva Sarvabhutan Bhutani Apashyat. So he gives example of that. Just like Yashoda, she saw all the living beings, everything inside the belly of baby Krishna. Or like Arjuna saw everything, everybody was in Krishna's body in Vishwarupa. So that is the meaning of Bhutani Bhagavati Atmani Esha Bhāgavatam. So that is one explanation. Then he gives another one. Yadva Atmani Swamansi Spurati Yo Bhagavan Tasmineva Bhutani Tasdvishyaka Premavati Apashyet Yatha. So the other meaning is that Atmani means one's mind. Atma also can mean mind, Atma can mean buddhi, Atma can mean body, Atma can mean attachment, Atma can mean many things. So he takes the meaning of Atma here as one's own mind, Swamanasi. So Atmani Swamanasi Spurati Yo Bhagwan. So the presence of Bhagwan which is felt in one's own mind, that is the meaning of Atmani Bhagavati. And he sees that presence of that in everything else. That others also have this. So means he sees devotees also, he sees others also as devotees. Tad Vishyaka Premavati Yapashyet. So he sees that these living beings, they have prema for Bhagavan as one has himself or herself. And in this he is giving the example of the gopis. So when Krishna disappeared and then they were searching for him, so they saw that they were asking one Lata, no, this is not, this is, they're just seeing the forest. So one Latastarva Atmani Vishnum Vijanteva Puspa Phaladya Pranata Bhara Vitapa Madhudhara Prema Hishtas Tanuvo Vabrishasma. So this is from the 35th chapter of 10th canto. I think this is the Yugal Gita. So they are seeing this is Yugal Gita. So gopis, they remembering Krishna, and then they are seeing that the creepers in the forest, they are having flowers, fruits coming on them, and they see that this is out of love for Krishna. So Manlata Starva, the creepers and trees, Atmani Vishnum Vyajantaiva Puspa Phaladya, as if they are expressing their love for Vishnu which is in them. And Pranat Bhara Vitapa Madhudhara Prema Hrishta Tanubo Vabrishusma. And they are very happy out of love and oozing honey, and their branches etc. are hanging down because of the fruits. Puspa Phaladya, Pranata Bhara Vitapa. So their bhav which they have towards Krishna, that is being imposed onto them also. So this is what happens, how we project our own feelings onto the others. So they are feeling love towards Krishna, they are in separation and talking about him.
Can you adjust a little bit the mic, Babaji, because it's in your ear?
Better now? So this is how a devotee sees. So we see this also in the material life also. When you are in happy, good mood, then others also look like that they are in good mood. When you are in angry mood, then everything changes. Or if you are in the depressed mood, then everything looks also depressive. So it is same described here. And Nadyastada tadupadharya mukunda geetam avritta lakshit manobhav bhagna vega आलिंगन स्थगित मूर्मी भुजैर मुरारे Grinanti Padyugalam Kamalopahara. So this is another one where they are also speaking that the river, when it heard the sounds of the flute of Krishna, Udhariya Mukunda Geetam, then it stopped flowing. Bhagna Vega. Why? Manobhav Bhagna Vega. Manobhav is Kamadev, Manasij, Manoj, Manobhava. Because where does Kama take birth? In the mind. Krishna also says, Indriyani Mana Buddhi Rasya Adhishthana Uchyate. So that's the birthplace of Kama. And from there he spreads. It's like you're born in one place, but you are not always in that same place. You move around. So Kama takes birth in the mind, and then he comes to the senses, goes to the intelligence, comes into the body, spreads his influence. So that is called here as Manobhava. So Avarta Lakshit. How do they know? Because there is a Avarta, there is this wall. It's in the water, sometimes you see how the water circulates. So that is the Avarta. And Alingana Sthagita Murumi Bhujair Murare. And these waves are like the arms with which the river is trying to embrace Krishna. And Grinanti Padyugalam Kalam Kamalopahara. And he is holding the feet of Krishna, bringing lotuses which are growing in the river pond, offering as an offering to his lotus feet. So this is how the gopis iti ityadikam Vraj Sundariya, the gopis are conjecturing in this way. And then he talks about the Pattamahishis, the queens. Kurari vilapsi tvamiti vita nidrana sheshe swapiti jagati ratriyam ishvaro gupta bodha. Says that, oh Kurari, why are you not sleeping and you are crying? The whole night is coming to an end and you are awake. So this is also as Deva themselves were also thinking, Vayam eva sakhi kachid gad nirbhinna cheta nalina nayan ha sodha udara leelokshitena. He says, like us, looks like a friend that your heart is also torn apart by the smiles, glances of Nalina Nayana, Krishna, who has beautiful eyes like lotus. And then they are seeing the mountain. Kshitidhar chintayase stanair vidhartum nachalasi navadsi udara buddhe kshitidhar chintayase mahantamartham apibat vasudeva nandananghrim vayamiva kamayase stanair vidhartum. Says that, O mountain, you are very generous, you are not moving, you are also keeping maunavrata, not speaking, and looks like you are having some deep meditation. So chintayase mahantamartham. Like us, you are also desiring to keep the lotus feet of son of Vasudeva on your breast. So this is how they are saying. Ateva atmano bhagavad bhavam sarvabhuteshu ya pashyati bhaviyanti cha bhutani iti asya artha sammatah satamiti Sri Sanatana Goswami Charana Nam Karika Prasiddha. So he says, therefore the meaning of this verse is that whatever is one's Bhagavad Bhav, means one's devotion to Bhagavan, the type of devotion one has in whatever relationship, like gopis have in Madhurya Bhav, queens also, then they also imagine that these creepers, trees, mountains, birds, all of them have the same bhav towards Krishna. That is the significance. So in this way they conjecture bhaviyanti. This is the meaning of pashyanti, means because the sloka says sarvbhutesu ya pashyet. So pashyet does not always mean that they see, because you cannot see the bhav. Bhav you can understand in others, but you don't see it with your eyes. So therefore he says pashyet means bhaviyanti, that they make a conjecture like that. And bhutani iti asya artha sammatah satam iti. And the word bhutani here means satam, means they see that others are also like devotees. So he says this is also accepted by Sanatana Goswami. There is some karika he has made in his commentary. Atra pashyediti tatha darshan yogata eva vivakshita shaklingcha. Now he says something more on it, because the verb which is used is not that they see it. It is not pashyati, but says that pashyeta. So he says that the meaning of pashyeta is that they are able to see, they have the possibility of seeing. It is sambhavanayam ling. Which means that it does not mean that they are seeing all the time like that. Sometimes devotees, they think like that, as if the Goswamis or great devotees, they are always seeing like that. But they also function in the society. They also make distinctions, who is favorable, who is not favorable. If they see a snake, they will also avoid it. Not that they say, oh, he is also devotee, let me go and catch him, talk to him. So therefore he says that pashyaditi tatha darshan yogata eva vivakshita. That the intention here is that they have the darshan yogata, means they have the ability to see like that. Not necessarily that they see all the time. Sometimes they may go in that mood or in that state, but not all the time. Iti ling, so that in that sense this is ling lakar is used. Natu tatha darshanasya sarvakaliktaya. So it is not that at all times they have this kind of vision. Not. Tathatve narada vyasa sukadavu avyapti syat. Because if this will be the case, he says, then this lakshana which has been described here, because this is a definition in a way. We just studied what is a definition in Nyaya Siddhanta Muktavali, right? So what is definition? Asadharana dharma lakshana. Lakshana is that which is specific characteristic of something which exists in that. So then lakshana is that which is always there. Lakshana, or the defining characteristic, cannot be something which is there sometimes and other time it is not there. That cannot be a defining characteristic. So defining characteristic is that which is always there. Otherwise, when it is not there, then you will not recognize that object. So he says here, one has to understand that this is not in the sense, although this is a defining characteristic, but it is not always manifest. It is there in them, the characteristic. But characteristic also has to manifest outside. Otherwise, we do not know whether it is there or not there. Unless it manifests, how do we know? So he says, therefore, because it is not always manifest, that's why, or The meaning why it is not always manifest comes from the usage of the verb pashyeta, not pashyati. If we take that this characteristic is always manifest in them, then this definition, he says, will not apply to Narada, Vyasa, Shukadeva. Because one thing is that we know that they are Mahabhagavatas, they are Uttam Bhagavata. But if they are Uttam Bhagavata and this is the defining characteristic, then it should always be found in them. But we don't find. So then the definition will have what kind of dosha? Avyapti dosha. Right? So Lakshata Avshedak Samanadhikaram Bhed Atyanta Bhav Pratyogita. So that will be there. Because why is that? Because Vyas was not always like that. He is also talking, he is also teaching. He will not be able to teach. If they are always seeing Bhagavad Bhav in everybody, then how he can teach to others? Because what is the point in teaching? You don't teach somebody who already knows. So if they will see that Sarvabhutesu yapashet Bhagavad Bhavam, their Bhav is there in all other people. So then he taught to Sukadeva Goswami, right? Pitu Devapaya Nadaham, Udhitvan Dvaparado. And then why would Sukadeva Goswami study? He will also not study. Narada also gives instruction to Prahlad, to Dhruva, many others, to Vyasa also. So therefore this interesting point he makes, that this, why the word pashyat is used. So this is the very interesting thing we have to notice in Shastra, how words are used and they have their importance. So it's not that they have just said, okay, no problem. So they are very carefully chosen, especially when it is defining something. So therefore it says, Nahi te sarvada eva sarvatra bhagvantam pashyanti. So he says, even these great Mahabhagavatas like Narada, Vyasa, Sukha, they are not seeing Bhagwan everywhere. As the sloka is saying, Sarvabhutesu yapashet Bhagwan Bhavam. So they are not seeing Bhagavad Bhav, means presence of Bhagwan all the time, in every place, in everybody. No, they are not. Kintu taddiksha adhikya eva. It's only when their mood or desire to see them becomes very intense, then only they see. Not at other times. Just like we read in Chaitanya Charitamrita about Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So it is not that he was seeing Krishna all the time, but sometimes he will go in that his inner mood. Then he became dysfunctional externally. He is not able to act. And he will come out. So sometimes hearing some katha, sloka, then they go into their internal mood. So taddriksha adhikya eva tas darshan autkantyam adhikam yada vardhet tadaiva kamukaha kamnimayam iti nyayena sarvam jagadeva bhagvanmayam pashyat. Only when their eagerness to see Bhagwan becomes very augmented, heightened, then only they see that this whole world is Bhagwan. It's all pervaded by Bhagwan. Everywhere there is Bhagwan only. They see him everywhere. Just like he says, Kamukaha Kamnimayam. Some person who is very lusty, then he sees women everywhere. Everything. Like we see the poets describing the trees and plants and clouds and rivers. So when they describe, everything they describe as if some love affair is going on. Right? You see so many slokas. So how is that they are able to describe? Because they go into that mood. And then it appears like that. Or they imagine. They may not actually be having that kind of mood. So he says in the same way devotees actually see. Tathaiva atmavat manyate jagat iti nyayena. So this famous principle, atmavat manyate jagat, that you perceive the world as per your own bhava. So that's why it becomes very difficult to understand other person's actions. Because we interpret the other person from our mood, but he or she has his or her own mood. So that's why misunderstandings happen. And men think differently, women think very much differently. So therefore there is a clash. And very difficult for them to understand each other. Because each has got their own view, vision, mood. And they see like that only, because that is the only way they can see. That is the meaning of Atmavat Manyate Jagat. So husband and wife have a lot of problem because of this. Right? It's a very practical thing. Because their mentalities are very much different. That's why this should be taught in the school to everybody. At least this one principle should be taught in the school to everybody. Just very simple principle. Atmavat Manyate Jagat. There should be a course on this. Yeah, then it will solve a lot of problems. In the family, in the school, in the college, at the workplace, when you go outside, shopkeeper has his mood, you have your mood, postman has his mood, right? The maid servant has her mood, the doctor has. So if you can understand that each person is working according to their own mood, professor, student. So if we do not know this, then all the time clash, because we think from our own way and we think others are also thinking. Because this sutra says that everybody thinks that others are thinking like this. But it is never true. So this is a very important principle. Now they see Bhagavan everywhere, that is very good. But the thing is that others are not seeing. So Atmavat Manyate Jagat iti nyayena sarvabhutani eva prema utkantya vyakulani eva pashyediti gyan. So he says that they see, just as they are feeling very eagerness, or they are in the mood of separation from Bhagavan, so they think everybody is like that. But then the other people don't act like that. Then they say, why is this person not doing this? So they cannot understand. This creates problem. Atra drisher jnanarthatve व्याख्याते भगवतः सर्वभूत आधेयत्व आधारत्व ज्ञानवतः शास्त्रज्ञ मात्रस्यैव भागवतोत्तमत्वं स्यात् इति तन्ने व्याख्यातम्. So now he says that there is another meaning which somebody can give, and he says that is a wrong interpretation and one should not give that kind of explanation. And that explanation is that the pashyat can also be seen in the sense that one has knowledge. Because the word drish dhatu, to see, is also seen in the sense of having knowledge. So therefore it says Drisher Jnanarthatve. So if you take like that, then what does it mean? That one has got theoretical understanding. Like you study Shastra, and then you maybe explained that Sarvasya Chaham Hridi Sannivishta, that I am situated in everybody's heart. So we study this in Bhagavad Gita, and then we have got the knowledge. So now he says that one who has this knowledge, he is Uttam Bhagavata. Because then meaning will become that Sarvabhutesu ya pashyet Bhagavat bhavam atmana. The meaning will be that one who has this knowledge that Bhagavan is existing in everybody, then he is a Uttam Bhagavata. So that will be a misunderstanding of this verse. So he is warning that. So it is not just question of theoretical understanding but of experience. So that's why he says that Pashyat is in capability of seeing, that they can see like that, and sometimes they see but not all the time. So therefore Pashya is in the sense of Anubhavatmak Gyan and not merely Shabdatmak Gyan, not only theoretical understanding but experience of it. So therefore he is also warning us so that we don't misunderstand what is being described.
Verse in Bhagavad Gita where it is said that Vidya Vinay Sampanne Brahmini Gavi Hastini Shunicheva Shapakaja Pandita Samadarshina. So contrasting that shlok with this, comparing that, so there it is said in the context of Jnani and here it is in the context of a Bhakta. Is it like that?
Yeah.
Okay, so there he sees Brahma everywhere and here he sees his Upasya Bhagwan everywhere.
Yes. Okay, any other question? So the next sloka is more practical. Means this is how devotees are in general. Even the Uttam Bhagavata, although he will describe him as a Madhyama, but as he said that the Uttam Bhagavatas are also not seeing Bhagavan all the time, not Sarvakalika. So he says that this is how they behave. Ishvara tadadhineshu balisheshu dusatsu cha prem maitri kripa upeksha ya karoti sa madhyama. So Madhyama Bhakta is that who has prema for Ishvara, means he has love for Bhagavan. And tadadhineshu matri, he has friendship with devotees. And balisheshu kripa, those who are innocent, simple-hearted people, but they are not devotees, he gives kripa, grace to them. And dushatsucha upeksha, those who are inimical towards Bhagavan, he avoids them. Upeksha means disregard, not mix with them, avoid them. So these are 4 ways. Because there are devotees, then there are people who are neutral, neither devotees nor inimical. And then there are inimical people. 3 types of people are there. So with devotees he is friendly. With neutral people he is gracious. With inimical he avoids them. And beyond all is Bhagavan. So Bhagavan he loves, he is devoted to them. So person who acts like that is called Madhyam Bhagavata. So Ishvare Swaupasye Bhagavati prema karoti tasmin asakto bhavati ityartha. So the meaning is that Ishvara here means one's worshipable Bhagavan. Otherwise Ishvara is generally used for Paramatma. Generally the word Ishvara is used for Paramatma. But Upasya is not Paramatma, Upasya is Bhagavan. Yogis may meditate on Paramatma, but Paramatma you cannot worship. Because Paramatma is either in the heart or somewhere in Shir Sagar. So he has attachment to Bhagavan, asakta. And tadadhinesu sadhino yesham teshu bhakteshu. So tadadhinesu means sa adhino yesham. So he is under their control, that is bhakta, maitri bandhu bhavam. So with them he has friendship. And balisha tad bhakti ajanatsu kripamiti. Balish is generally used for ignorant people, not who have great understanding. So for them he says, therefore he says tad bhaktim ajanatsu. They do not know about devotion. So he is gracious, means he tells them about bhakti. Bharat Vyasa Sukadinam api kripaya sarvatrikatva adarsanat. So he says that in the stories of Bharat, Jad Bharat, especially Vyas, Shuka, he says it is not that they were giving their grace to everybody, whomever they met, Yare Dekho Tare Kaho Krishna Updesh. They were not doing that. So he says only to some. So therefore he says Bharata Vyasa Sukadinam api kripayaha sarvatrikatva adarsanat. Says it is not seen that these great exalted devotees, that they gave their kripa everywhere to everybody. Yeshu balisheshu kripa swayam udeti teshu iti. He says only to some balish, some ignorant, innocent people, their kripa may became manifest. So only to them they gave. Teshu iti vyakhayam. So he gives an example. Girayo mumuchu stoyam kvachit na mumuchu sivam. Yatha jnanamritam kale jnanino dalte nava. So he says that the mountains, so they release some streams of water. So sometimes they release, sometimes not. It's not that the water is flowing from the mountain all around and also not throughout the year. So sometimes it comes, sometimes it doesn't come, and it comes only in some specific places. He said just like those who have knowledge, jnanamritam. So sometimes they give, and not that they give all the time and to everybody, regardless who they are. So they also, so the devotees also give their grace to some and not all the time to everybody. Iti giri drishtantat bhagvantam dushatsu upeksham tatra kripaya vaifalya darshanat iti bhava. So from this example of the mountain, what is being described also is that those who are inimical, to them they do not give their grace, because it is no use. If you try to tell them something about Bhagavan, then they will only become more angry at you, because that is their nature. They have dvesha, that is the meaning, that they are envious. So they should be just avoided. आत्मानं द्विषत्सु तु बालिशत्वमननात् दूरतः स्थित्वा एव तच्छुभा अनुध्यानमात्रम् iti sadachara. Now he makes a very interesting point. So first of all we have to know that those who are inimical, you don't have to become inimical to them. Those who are inimical, then just avoid them. And then he says, that is people who are inimical to Bhagwan. Those who are inimical to you, what you have to do then in their case? So he says they should also be avoided, but don't become inimical to them, because it's very easy to become inimical of them. This is what people do. Among devotees also you see a lot of enmity. So that is not good. So he says don't become inimical, you avoid them, since you think they are inimical to you and they will harm you. But think of their welfare. Even towards them don't have ill feelings, because if you have ill feelings towards them, it is going to pollute your heart. In our heart we want love, then only Bhagavan will stay there. If we keep ill feelings in the heart, then Bhagavan is not going to. Because if you have inimical feeling, then it's like you're keeping some fire, so your heart will burn. And Bhagavan is very soft. He wants a cool place. His feet are lotus feet, we say, right? Very soft. Kurpadibhir bhramti dhiyayusam. Gopi says that when we think of you walking in the forest, so our mind reels, because we even fear to put your tender feet on our breast. So if you want that soft person in our heart, and the heart is emitting dvesha, like a hot bulb, so Bhagavan will not come there. So then Bhagavan will not come, you will not have even memory of him. You will not be able to think, meditate, do your japa. So therefore he gives a nice formula. He says this is the sadachar. He says this is how saintly people behave, not keeping the grudge inside. Sometimes some people, they keep that grudge and they are very proud of that also. So atmanam dvishatsu tu balisatva mananat. Says those who are inimical to you, don't think of them as your enemy, but he says put them in the category of balisha. They are in the fourth category, so he says you upgrade them to the third one. And then maintain your distance from them. It's very interesting. So durataha sthitva eva, so stay away from them, and tat shubha anudhyana matram, and think of their welfare, that God may give them good intelligence. Atra sarvabhuteshu bhagavad darshan yogyata yasya kadachit api na dishta tasyev lakshan chatushyatve madhyamatvam yasya tu sadrishta tasya tu uttamatvam eveti vivechaniyam. So now how do we distinguish between madhyam and uttama? Because uttama is also not always on the uttama level. That he already said. So he says the way to distinguish is that the madhyama will never have experience of what is being experienced by the uttama. Uttama will have that experience sometime, although he is never at that level. He is not all the time at that level. He will also be like madhyama. But he can have experience, and he does have. And the madhyama does not have that capability to have that experience yet. That is madhyama. So this is the distinction. Ateva Bhāgavatottamesu Naradadishu api prem maitri kripa upaksha drishyante. So therefore those who are uttama bhaktas like Narada etc., so in them also we see these four type of behavior. Prema, maitri, kripa and upeksha. Sometimes they also get angry, upset with somebody. If you are seeing Bhagavad Bhav everywhere, there is no question of that they will become angry. But it is seen. So therefore, they are called Uttama because they also have the experience of what was described for Uttam Bhagavata, although they function at the level of Madhyama. So we'll stop here if there is any question to be asked.
Babaji, in the previous verse, when he is explaining the Uttam Bhagavat, he is giving two types of examples. One is of the Parshads of Bhagwan, like Gopis, Vrajdevis and Patmahishis. And also he is giving the example of Narad Vyas and Shuka Adi. So in the case of Vrajdevis and Patmahishis, Yashoda Adi, it is very clear. He is explaining by the examples Yashoda saw in the Jatar of Krishna, everyone. And in the Patmahishis also he is giving by example, and also by in the Vrajdevis. So they have Bhagavad Darshan and Bhagavad Bhav everywhere. But how do we understand that this Narad Vyas and Shuka, they have Bhagavad Bhav, they see everyone according to their, they see in everyone, they see Bhagwan, their Upasya. How do we understand this?
How do you understand? Just as you understand in the gopis. So gopis are seeing all the time?
मेरा कहने का अर्थ है कि वो तो लीला उनके पार्षद हैं, तो उनका तो वैसा भाव आना स्वाभाविक है, लेकिन ये तो लीला में पार्षद नहीं है.
तो लीला में पार्षद नहीं है तो क्या है? उनका तो आएगा नहीं. व्यास जी ने मतलब अभी तो समाधि में बैठ के भगवान का दर्शन किया ना, सम्यक प्रणीत मलय भक्ति हो गए न मनसी अपश्यत पुरुषम पूर्णम मायम च तदपाश्रयम. दर्शन किया ना उन्होंने. नारद जी को भी दर्शन हुआ बैठ के जब ध्यान कर रहे थे. So they also had darshan. So that means they are capable. That's what he was saying when he said Pashyat means that they have capability.
So जो इनकी योग्यता है वो पार्षदों के कंपैरिजन में कुछ कम होगी, कुछ न्यून होगी, जो इनका.
हाँ, वो तो न्यून तो सबकी रहती है. उसमें तारतम्य is always there. Among the gopis also there is तारतम्य. Everybody is not the same level as Sri Radha or other gopis.
ठीक.
Within Bhagavata Uttama also there is तारतम्य.
बाबा जी एक प्रश्न और था. ये जो इन्होंने दिस लास्ट in the previous verse, the commentary, this Shakki link, and there is a quotation given 33172.
This is Panini Sutra.
Panini Sutra.
Babaji, this Ashakti that the Madhyama has, this is the stage of Ashakti before Bhava. What does it mean, this attachment? My question basically is that, is the Madhyama a Sadhaka or a Siddha?
Madhyama means Madhyama also has prema, but he is not to that extent. That's why we said there is a tartamya. Madhyama can also be that person who has attained bhava, or he may not have attained bhava yet, or he is on the path to reach that. These verses are seen in different ways. If you remember, I think in Bhakti Sandarbha, Jiva Goswami explains in very different ways. Madhyam is also Uttama. So it is difficult to say different ways of, but you can think like that, that it is possible that he has, like this is how Vishwanath Chakravarti was saying, that they don't have the ability like the Uttam Bhagavata have, and that is the difference he is making. So means they have not attained that state yet.
But they are definitely not like struggling with the lower modes of nature and so on.
Yeah. They are beyond anarthas.
And when the Shastra recommends you to accept a guru, this is the qualification. From this platform is the qualification of the guru, not the next one that we will read.
The next one is just Kanistha.
When he is glossing this word tad adhineshu, he is explaining tad adhineshu sa adhino yesham. It appears as if वो कहना चाह रहे हैं कि ईश्वर जिनके अधीन है.
ये तो mutually is.
वो उल्टा यहाँ पे उल्टा वो प्रतीत हो रहा है.
Yeah, because it's mutual. If the devotee is under him, they are also under him. If you take service from somebody, he also becomes under their control or not. Right. Somebody is driving your car, you are controlling him because you are the boss, you pay him, but he is actually in control now. Right?
So he is explaining the word tad adhineshu as ईश्वर जिनके अधीन है, not जो ईश्वर के अधीन है.
You can make Bahuvrihi, what is the problem? What is the difficulty? Srishti.
Dandavat Pranam Babaji. Babaji, if Sri Devrishi Narad Ji and Vedvyas Ji are all avatars of Bhagavan, then how can one be inferior to other?
How can one be inferior to other means what?
Like, I just heard the discussion that there is some ladder of comparison where Devrishi Narad or Vedvyas Ji, they don't have the same level of experience as say Braj Gopanganas. So they are not on the same cadre as the gopis. So, but whatever little I've heard is that they are avatars of Bhagavan. So they are avatars of Bhagavan, are they not, again, Satyanarayana, are they not all Anand Swarup?
Yeah, but in that also there is Tartamya, Anand Swarup is possible. But just like you have different types of sweets, so there can be Tartamya, gradation in the sweetness. So that is the meaning. It doesn't mean that just because they are Anand Swarupa, they are all equal. There is a different level of manifestation of love. This is the whole thing which is being taught in Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. Sandeep.
So I have two questions. First is on this Bhagavatam commentary. So first he gave example of Prahlad and Yashoda, like we were seeing in this manner. And then he said there is another way, like the gopis and queens are seen. So what exactly is I couldn't get that difference. Like.
So there are two meanings. There are two meanings he is giving to word Bhagavad Bhavam. Because the sloka says Sarvabhutesu yapashet Bhagavad Bhavam. Right? So Bhagavad Bhavam can mean, Bhava can mean presence. As it says Bhavam Vidyamanata. That Bhagavan is present in everybody. Sarvabhutesu means in all beings. So one way, one understanding or one interpretation is that Bhagavad Bhavam means the presence of Bhagwan Sarvbhutesu in all living beings. So Prahlad saw that Nrsimhadev or Paramatma or Ishvara is in everybody. When his father asked, is he there in this pillar also? He said, yes, he is there. So this is the one meaning of Bhagavad Bhav, means presence of Bhagwan. Bhav also means prema, like sthai bhav and sthai bhav, prema bhavet or sthai bhav raso bhavet. So there bhav means love or bhakti. So means the type of bhakti one has for Bhagwan. Then he sees that in others also. The gopis are having madhurya bhav towards Krishna. So they are seeing that, oh, these latas are also having love for Krishna like that. And therefore they are oozing out honey. And the river is trying to offer lotus to Krishna's lotus feet. And it is stopped by hearing the flute and wants to embrace him. You know, the wave of water goes up is like two arms. So this is Bhagavad Bhav here in the sense of prema.
Okay. So my second question was about Madhyama when he is saying. So he is saying that Kripa is sometimes like manifesting, sometimes not. So I couldn't get a point like when it would manifest means it is subjective, depending upon the person is giving Kripa or the way it is coming from Bhagwan and he is giving Kripa.
Yeah, it's up to them when they give or not give, it is up to them. That's what he's saying. It's not that they give just indiscriminately, that's what he said.
Mm-hmm. So it's up to the Madhyama.
Who else? If they are giving Kripa, it's up to them. And
Won't he be discriminating?
that's what he's saying.
And then discrimination is a quality of devotee.
Why not? He's a fool or what? It's only mad people who cannot discriminate. Can a child discriminate? He will take anything put in the mouth. He has no discrimination. Discrimination is the function of buddhi.
No, discrimination is okay, but then
You are always you are thinking that the word discrimination is always negative. Doesn't have to be. Vivek, Sanskrit word is vivek. Discernment. It doesn't have to be always negative. It's not in the sense I discriminate means I push the guy away and I don't treat him nicely. That is discrimination. That is different meaning. But if I have money, I want to give to somebody. It's not that I just give blindly whoever comes. I see whether this person deserves, doesn't deserve. I want to give, not give. Tanvaji.
Babaji, I just wanted to confirm these two types of scenarios. So first is Bhagavantam Dvishatsu Upeksha Tatra Kripaya Vaifalya Darshanaditi Bhava. So if somebody is despising Bhagavan, then Kripa to such a person is useless. So that's one. So Upeksha means ignore, or you're indifferent. And then the interesting thing is it says Dvishatsu, so Atmanam Dvishatsu Tu. So it's got the word Tu. That means this person actually does not despise Bhagavan, he is a devotee, he or she, but despises one's own self. And for such people, one should consider when Balisha is saying. Am I correct? In other words, these people, this category is devotee category?
No, it's not saying that he is a devotee. Why would devotee, if he is having
Right,
dvesha
that's the
for
question.
devotee, then he is not a devotee. So dveshatsu means that here dvesha is maybe not for Bhagwan but for you, but he may He may not have dvesha for Bhagwan, but he has for devotee, for you.
So he may not have bhakti for Bhagwan either. So he is neutral towards Bhagwan but hateful towards Sita would be the category.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Mohini.
So this verb pashyat is in Vithiling, and I always thought that Vithiling and Lord Lakar have same or similar meaning. So, but here Vithiling, as I understood now, Vithiling it has the ability to see Bhagavan everywhere, and Lord Lakar would mean it is an order, so it is not that, so it is just a potentiality.
So what is the question? I don't know what you are saying. I mean, these are two separate lakaras. Obviously, if they have some difference, if they exactly have the same meaning, why have two different lakara?
Yeah, because I understood, I always thought that Lord Lakar and Vithiling Lakar have
So now,
very similar.
so now you can change thing you're thinking.
Yeah.
So Satyanarayana Das is writing in the chat, Radhe Radhe, dear Babaji, please accept my pranams. Here are the essential verses where Paramananda Das mentions the Mahamantra exclusively with japa. So he cites from Śrīmad-Bhāgavata 2.23.75. The Lord Himself has instructed everyone, happily hear the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. And then verse 76 with the Mahamantra. And then verse 77, the Lord said, I have spoken this Mahamantra, go and chant it in japa with firm discipline. And then verse 78, by this everyone...
No, that's okay. I know these verses. I already said yesterday that I know all this. I asked a simple question, that give me one reference where it says that do not do kirtan with Mahamantra. That's all I'm saying. I know these things.
We don't have this reference.
So therefore, if it is not forbidden,
Yes.
then why are you saying that you cannot do kirtan? That was my point. That's all.
Yes. But he interpreted some verses in his own mind, in his own meaning.
You can interpret, okay, that's fine. If you interpret it like that, I'm not saying don't interpret, but I don't interpret it like that.
Yes, right. But some people can confuse a little bit because it's merely his word. It sound good, and you think yes, maybe it's true what he speaks. But I also asked my Guru Dev, he also gave me references from Shastra that he don't write with this statement. But I ask you because you are very learned in Shastras, and I will heard your statement about this. That was only my reason to ask you.
Yeah, so there is nowhere it is forbidden, and there are hints that kirtan of Hare Krishna can be done. There are places where somebody is writing that, when I chant Hare Krishna, even Rupa Goswami is saying it, that how much bliss is there. So
because it's a mantra, and mantra we don't sing in the Sankirtan, mantra is only for japa, and he said Mahamantra.
So that is his interpretation. Please listen to me what I am saying. It is not a mantra. Mantra has to always have either nama, swaha, swadha. Without that, it is not a mantra. So it is a name. All it has is 3 words which are in Sambodhana, invocatory case. Hari or Hara, whichever you take, becomes Hare. And Krishna and Rama, their invocation is Krishna and Rama only. So these are invocatory words, like when you call somebody. No, there is no mantra. You cannot show me another mantra where there is an invocation. Mantra will always have fourth case in it. Shivaya Namah, Narayana Namah, Ramaya Namah, anything. There will be fourth case. And some Nama, Swadha, Swaha, this will come in every mantra. This is the construction of the mantra. And there, of course, there are Bij mantras which have only one word, like Hrim, Klim, Shrim, all that, Those are called Bij mantras. So this Mahamantra, we are calling it Mahamantra, but it is not a mantra as per the definition of mantra. If you read Mantra Shastra, then Mantra Shastra explains what is a mantra. But we do japa of this. And that's why in our Sampradaya also, you are actually not really considered as initiated if you only have the Naam, this Mahamantra. You have to have Gopal Mantra, that whatever the Gayatri is. Then only you are considered as qualified to do deity worship. Simply with the Mahamantra, you actually are not qualified to do deity worship. So that shows that it is really not a mantra. Because to do the worship of the deity, you have to have the mantra, Diksha. But I am not again arguing it that if you want to do the japa with this and not do kirtan with this, fine, it is with me. I have no problem with that. That is their understanding, but it is not our understanding, and we also have our understanding.
In the Hare Krishna mantra is only the names, is Hari and
It is basically Naam.
It's Nam.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you very much.
Ajay, I think one contention to this, in Krishna Bhajanamrita, Narhari Sarkar will give why Mahamantra is mantra. He'll give Rishi, he'll give which pravara it comes from, he'll give the...
From where is it?
Krishna Bhajanamrita, Narhari Sarkar.
Yeah, but from where does it
he will
come?
Give
that
pramana also. He will give how to set up, deity worship for that, how to do pratisthana, everything.
So why do we have another mantra?
No, he will show it for Gaura, he will show Gaura as the upasya of the mantra, and he'll give a whole paddhati for it.
Yeah, so that
is the contention, that's all.
Can be, This is the problem with our sampradaya. Our sampradaya is such a khichdi that it's very difficult to say anything. I have so many ideas from this line, from that line. You go to Ramanuja Sampradaya, Madhva Sampradaya, they are very clear, this is how it is, this is how to be done, no confusion. You come to Gaudiya Sampradaya, bas. Two parivar don't agree with each other. This tilak, that tilak, this type of puja, that type of puja. You have to do puja of both, you have to do puja of this, you have to do puja of that. So therefore better is that whatever you are doing, fine, don't argue, Everybody has got their lineage, their sampradaya, respect that, finished, The problem comes when you want to impose one to the other. Then you start fighting. What is the outcome of it? I already said that I am not going to change and you are not going to change. Then why are we trying to argue? As they say that, let's agree to disagree. Simple. Okay.